The aftermath of the Syndicate meeting left a bitter tang in the geomantic currents, a residue of ancient power clashing against calcified dogma. Arden had made a statement. He had laid bare the Syndicate's complacency, their clinging to a lie that was now actively crumbling under the strain of a planet stirring from its enforced slumber. But words, even words charged with the immense key of the Prime Immortal, were not enough. Action was required. Upon his return to the vertical sanctuary, the erratic rain had subsided somewhat, yet a low, unsettling hum permeated the air. Ilara met him at the entrance to the private sanctuary, her concern palpable despite her customary composure. The psychic tremors on the disk have intensified, Master Arden. The global networks are reporting unprecedented levels of digital noise. Some governments are beginning to restrict access to certain platforms, citing national security concerns. Arden nodded, his gaze distant, already sifting through the layers of information he'd gathered from the Cairnheart chamber. The Syndicate, for all its power, was slow. Their reactions were measured in centuries, not days. Alyssin, despite her disruptive brilliance, still operated within certain established parameters, a calculated chaos designed to provoke, not outright destroy. Arden's plan, however, was neither slow nor merely provocative. It was surgical, intended to dissect the very threads of control that bound the Syndicate, exposing their vulnerabilities to force a catastrophic realignment. "It's time to begin," Arden stated, his voice resonating with a quiet, dangerous authority. "Focus the long-range scanners on the global finance networks. Identify the primary key conduits that employ for capital flow and market stabilization. Pinpoint the nodes that belong to Zephyrion's immediate network." Ilara's eyes widened almost imperceptibly. Zephyrion financial network was vast, intricately woven into the global economy, providing him and his faction with immense temporal power. To target it directly was an act of overt aggression against one of the Syndicate's most powerful elders. Such a move, Master, would cause unprecedented economic destabilization. Chaos. Chaos is a necessary byproduct of change, Ilara, Arden countered, turning to gaze at the colossal waterfall outside. The water roared, a constant reminder of raw, untamed power. Their control over human belief extends to their perceived prosperity. If their wealth can be made to falter, their illusions of stability will shatter. The true value of their contributions will be revealed. They believe they govern the humans. I intend to prove they only govern their own perceived dominance. He walked towards his sunken library, then the gently flowing water through its channels now seeming to pulse with a low, expectant hum. The bioluminescent fungi on the walls cast an eerie, shifting glow on the ancient texts and scrolls. This was a sanctuary of knowledge, but also his arsenal. And Isolde's work, Arden continued without looking back. Her framework for the digital networks. While Alyssin exploits its vulnerabilities, I need to understand its deepest roots. Every filament, every hidden frequency, she built it. She knows its true architecture beyond what she revealed to the Syndicate. There are layers there only she could have designed, and only I can perceive. Ilara's silence was prolonged this time. Isolde was a mystery to most, a young weaver who had risen quickly, seemingly loyal to Zephyrion's most conservative faction, yet oddly prescient in her technological insights. That Arden suspected her of deeper complicity with Alyssin's agenda was a revelation. "How would you approach Isolde, Master?" Ilara finally asked, her voice hushed. "Not directly," Arden responded, running his hand over a scroll of ancient geomantic charts. "Her key signature is too well guarded, too intertwined with the very network she manages. No, we will simply observe. We will map the subtle energy fluctuations within her own digital weave, the hidden pathways, the unspoken commands. Every time she reacts to Alyssin's gambit, she leaves traces, and I intend to follow those traces to their source. His true aim was not merely to exploit Isolde's vulnerabilities, but to understand the extent of her double agency. If she was indeed knowingly aiding Alyssin within the Syndicate's technological infrastructure, then she was a key, powerful piece in the larger game. Arden needed to either neutralize her or turn her, and the only way to achieve either was to know the full depth of her hidden loyalties. Over the next days, the vertical sanctuary became a silent storm of focused geomantic energy. From the cliffside overlook, Arden spent hours, sometimes days, in deep trance, his awareness expanding across the disk. He wasn't just observing data, he was feeling the flow of capital, the subtle key currents of global trade, the hidden strings of Zephyrion's faction pulled. He traced their geomantic sigils, embedded in banking protocols and stock market algorithms, and the perceived value of digital currency itself. Simultaneously, he began to probe the deeper layers of the internet's key infrastructure. Isolde's work was indeed masterful, a seamless integration of ancient geomancy with modern technology. It was like reading a language he had forgotten, yet instinctively understood. He saw the elegant, deliberate backdoors, the subtle vulnerabilities that Alyssin was now exploiting, but also deeper, more complex trapdoors and hidden pathways that spoke of an intelligence far beyond mere compliance. The strain of this constant, multifaceted geomantic engagement was immense, even for Arden. The deep-hanging energy around him grew so potent that even Alara and his most acclimated staff could only endure short periods in his immediate vicinity. The sanctuary itself seemed to breathe with his efforts, the light flickering, the waters humming with barely contained power. He ate little, slept less, his ancient mind consumed by the monumental task of dissecting the illusion he had so carefully woven, thread by painful thread. He found the fissures first, not obvious breaks, but the subtle shifts in key flow, moments where Zephyrion's control over a major financial hub would inexplicably waver, causing a ripple of uncertainty through the global markets. And he found the pathways, the subtle digital signatures Isolde used that subtly redirected or amplified these wavers, sometimes to Alyssin's advantage, sometimes to create unpredictable noise that baffled both factions. Arden knew then, Isolde was not merely a pawn, she was a catalyst, acting on a deeper directive, whether from Alyssin or perhaps an even older, more fundamental understanding of the planet's desires. This was not just a war between Arden and Alyssin, it was a war for the future of the Great Weaving itself, with the Disc-born caught unknowingly in the crossfire. And as the Prime Immortal, Arden intended to dismantle the old order, piece by painful piece, until only